You are listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Host star myself, Wole, and the homie, Mo. What's going on, Mo?
Going on, man. Big week, man. A lot of fans have been excited about last week, and we get to talk about what the results were.
Definitely. It's exciting. I know the command. What was it? What is it called? What's the new hashtag? Raise hell. That I guess Raise Hell Nation is kind of amped up. So yeah, like you said, everybody's kind of hyped. I feel like all NFL teams are hyped at this time. Everybody's optimistic. Like their team has done something great. You know what I'm saying?
It's Christmas in the springtime, man. Christmas in the springtime.
I'm all about what I like. I'm all about what we see in July. You know what I'm saying? But that it is what it is. Hey, and maybe not even that, to be real with you. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Everything. Also tweet us at ABG_everything and hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. And like our All Burgundy and Go Everything Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the red subscribe button and like this video. We try to hit 400, so make sure you subscribe to the video. All right, man. It's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We are going to grade out the Commanders draft picks. I know this is exciting. Everybody's probably been doing this, but we're going to do our own because we do it better than most people, to be honest with you. All right, man, let's introduce our guests to help us do that. Right now, we have founder of Seawall Sports and Entertainment and Bowie TV president, Commanders reporter, Candi Waller on the show. What's up, Candi?
Hey, you guys. How y'all doing?
We're doing well.
Good, Candi. It's good to have you. It's good to have you on, Candi. You know.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be on.
I'm happy to have you on because, like, you're doing big things out. Everybody knows you're doing big things. You were at the draft. I mean, sheesh. How was the vibe?
Well, wait a minute. I was not at the draft. Not me. You see how you all thought?
I thought you was at the draft.
No, one of our pseudo team members, Jay Griffin, she was at the draft. I was in Ashburn all 3 days.
Oh, okay. See, I mean, you making power moves. I got you. I feel you. I feel you making money moves. I got you. Hey, you handle this. While I be at Ashburn doing this, you handle this. I you know what? I vibe. I peep game.
It was the 3 ladies. She was in Detroit. Karita was in Baltimore. I was in Ashburn for 3 days.
I peep game. All right. So you all right.
But I like how you thought I gave the illusion.
You did. I ain't gonna hold you. I was looking at it. I was like, oh, she at the draft. Okay. I saw Bowie TV everywhere. So I'm just saying.
Yay.
You're synonymous with Bowie TV. So I'm like, all right, I see Bowie TV. Commanders. Oh, Candi there. She doing it. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely are doing it because you like Geppetto. You got everybody making moves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Pinocchio. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, man. Puppet master.
Puppet master. You know what I'm saying? I mean it in a cool way, not in a derogatory way. I mean that in a cool way. All right.
Funny.
Oh, man. Hey, bro, you just take us in, man. You know what I'm saying? Take us into we got to go to, bro.
So
how funny.
I know. I'm just saying, no, because you caught me. I go. Oh, man.
Me and Wole were talking earlier about the excitement of the fan base around the number 2 overall pick, Jayden Daniels. And we know that this draft was a heavy laden draft for the Washington Commanders. So we want to really talk about the other draft picks. I think Jayden Daniels got a lot of coverage leading up to the draft. And even on day 1 of the draft, where there was a lot of excitement and buzz around having a starting caliber quarterback here in Washington. So I want to jump right onto Jer'zhan Newton, the defensive tackle taken in the 2nd round out of Illinois at pick 36. Mm-hmm. What is it that you think elevated him to the point where this team thought that the second pick that they made, the second selection they made that weekend should be another D tackle when they already have Josh Allen and Deron Payne under contract?
So one thing that Adam Peters shared that I wanted to highlight, it was actually 2 things. One, they were surprised that Jer'zhan failed. He shared that at some point they were thinking about and were trying to trade up into the 1st round, but it didn't happen. Makes me wonder, okay, was that potential trade up to go and snatch Jer'zhan because they were worried that he wasn't going to be available. I think that was like super important. But based on what Adam Peters was sharing, he said you can never have too many defensive linemen. You never have too many defensive linemen. And the way that he described Jer'zhan, also known as Johnny, but I'm gonna call him Jer'zhan because we don't know
him Johnny. I know. I'm trying to figure out
Johnny, whichever one. So the way Adam Peters and others across the organization are describing him is exactly the way Coach Joe Witt has described how he wants this defense to play. And another key aspect of what was shared was that this is somebody, go through, rookie camp, OTAs, training camp. He should be ready to go. So this is not a developmental player. This is not a depth piece. This is absolutely a piece that they believe that is going to be a contributor week 1 to this team. Again, I want to go back to the point that I said because it was so interesting. We saw Coach Joe Witt Jr. out in the parking lot after Jaden Daniels' press conference. And I was like, what we doing today, Coach? What we doing today? You going to get your guy today? What we doing? He said, I hope so. When they got him, I said, okay, that had to be their guy because everything that's said in terms of arriving violently, all of the things that they want this team to be, Jer'zhan emulates that almost to the T. So I think it was almost like a gotta go get them because now this is this new regime's, these are their people. So they're going to get the folks that look like what they have defined and how they want this team to play. So I think that's why they went ahead and got him. Like I said, they were shocked that he was still there.
Me too.
And they had to go and get him.
Yeah, I like what I liked about that pick. What it represented was, like I was talking about in the first round, like just get the best player. Period. I liked in that second round they got the best player available. That's how I look at him because there's a guy to me that's arguably should have been a mid first round pick. Not even for him to drop all the way down to the second round. Like I think that's like you got to get like regardless of like people talk about need or whatever. But when you're not a good team, when you're the second worst team in the NFL, I think it's time to stockpile on players who are like the best available players. So you now the best available players because now you could put yourself in a position to just stockpile on talent. And you don't want to say that you want to say that your team is one of the more talented teams in the NFL rather than I've heard from other people like the fan base or people in the DMV may value this player, but outside of this town, other teams are like, nah, that player ain't that good, or he ain't him, right? But this is a kid that was one of probably the best defensive player in the Big Ten, and now you have him on your team. And I know people are talking about, well, you got Jonathan Allen and you have Deron Payne. That don't mean nothing. Like you got a dude that arguably could be better than them dudes. I'm keeping it a buck. Like he could be better than them dudes. But you do add more versatility on that unit now. Like now you rotate bodies where everybody, like your 3 guys are dangerous. You get a healthy Jonathan Allen next season. A motivated. I think a player like this motivates a Deron Payne, to be real with you. Like Mo has talked about, like you got that money and you weren't the same player last year. Well, now you got a dude who is hungry. You got a young boy who hungry, who wants to show the world like, all right, y'all, I'm supposed to be a first rounder. You put me in the second rounder. You must think this is sweet. You must think I ain't the one. So now I'm gonna prove to y'all I'm the one. So I think there's so many different elements why this pick is so dope. Is that now you just don't have a young dude who's motivated to be in the league, but now you got a young dude who's motivated to show people that y'all shortchanged me, man. Like I ain't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be a first rounder. Go ahead.
And if I could add the fact that he is a player in the ilk of this coaching staff at a position that we know is going to probably see some turnover with Big John Allen being an influx. We're not knowing what that's going to look like coming off an injury this year and already having some rumblings last year about wanting to be elsewhere. I think having a cornerstone like Jer'zhan, I think pairing him with Deron Payne for the future in case there's no John Allen, right? In case there's a change there or just having somebody that's multiple that can give them a rest and keep everybody fresh in the middle and add another layer. I think some of the advantages of his game is his stature. I think that that was a knock on him, but I think his stature, his low pad level, is going to go a long way for him. He was drawing comparisons to like
Aaron
Ricky
Donald.
Jarrett.
I heard some Aaron Donald.
I've heard Aaron Donald because of the what's the name and because of the impact, but like your Grady Jarretts of the world, then your like your Javon Hargraves of the world, like somebody that can play both the run and the pass. And he showcased that this year, getting about 8 sacks at Illinois. So like he's just a disruptive player. He's just.
I think led the nation also in blocked field goals or something.
I think they blocked like almost a handful.
Like 3 or 4. He's a problem.
He's just disruptive, man. He has a high motor and something that this coaching staff probably wants to see. So I thought that selection was like up there with when they say the steals. I mean, because you got a first round grade and you got him in the second round, and you get to pair him with some veterans. So I think.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Oh no, I was gonna say I don't know if you all saw the TV version, but it was a very happy draft room
for him. I believe it. I mean,
they were all happy. They were happy all night.
I mean, everybody's happy. Everybody gassed each other up.
But I mean, there was like a lot of high fives and hugs and smiles. They were very happy,
and they should, because I do think, like Mo said, I think it's a legit steal. Forget who you have on your team already. It's just a legit steal. Like it's almost like you're getting a guy that arguably, if he was drafted where he's supposed to be, where he was projected to be drafted at, I won't say supposed to, projected to be drafted at, is where you typically get like a Pro Bowl D tackle, typically.
And now you got him in the teens and the early 20s.
Yeah, and you get him in the second round.
Yeah.
I think that's a steal for real. That's a big time steal.
And if we're being honest, he was the 36th pick of the draft. That means he was 3 picks away from being a first rounder. 4 picks really, because you look at the wave of quarterbacks, that went.
And offensive players in general.
14 straight offensive players before a defensive player was drafted. Yeah. So, but I think that pick was solid. The second pick that the Commanders came back with was Mikey Sensarisville from the cornerback from Michigan. They drafted the 50th pick. They traded back with the Eagles to bring in a corner from the national champion Michigan Wolverines. What did you think about that pick?
Let me tell you something. I didn't know what to think about it until we got on the Zoom call. I was like, oh, I can tell why they were probably, playing aside. There's a certain level of swag that this draft class has that, again, I'm going to keep going back to. The team has been clear on how they want to play, what they want to be known for, the definition, there still remains to be seen kind of their official identity, but it's written all over the walls. They have all types of kind of like language decals all over the walls in Commanders Park now, just reminding people of who they are, and just the way they should be as people, right? As humans. So therefore hoping, of course, that it would translate on the field. This kid here, tons of swag, tons of confidence, already disruptive. They want somebody who's going to get their hands on the football, that's going to get the PBUs, that's going to get the pick sixes. They needed people that were going to be impactful day one. This is another one of those guys, right up, straight up. Another thing I want to mention about the entire draft class is the majority of them are team captains.
Yeah.
I think that is a very important point, because they have a majority draft classes coming in as what? Leaders. Yes. What's one of the things you've heard myself? You all have probably said it, I'm sure. Who's the leader in the room? Here's the leaders. Who's going to step up? You see the moves they made in free agency, right?
Yeah, Bobby Wagner, leaders,
across the board, right? Disruptors across the board. They've got a draft class that matches that energy. The only difference is they're rookies, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to be looking for the veterans to help these guys, but also to help the Commanders veterans.
Yeah.
Right? These guys, who are they learning from? Who do they have an opportunity to learn from? This is a big deal in terms of the foundation for how you want your organization to roll. And I think this pick emulates just that. I was totally impressed. At first, I was kind of like, I don't know, because I kind of wanted some other folks that it went ahead.
Everybody wants tackles, yeah.
Right?
Everybody wants some tackles, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as the Eagles picked, I was like, of course, they got the person I wanted.
Yeah.
But did some research on this kid, and again, the Zoom call was all I needed to see. I said, oh, okay,
Yeah.
he has the right attitude.
No, he's a good fit. You know what I mean? I think it's all about the fit, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I'm a Michigan fan, so I kind of watched him, and you know, he's played wide receiver. When he came
That's
to
the point I was
Michigan,
gonna make.
yeah, he made wide receiver, so that kind of shows you like how
His ball skills.
his ball skills, and he reads routes, so he runs route. He basically predicts the routes when he's out there, so
Yeah.
it makes him able to recognizes the route and able to jump on a football. He can get he'll gamble at times, which is it's fine. I feel like I'm cool with that. As long as you make a big play, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But I like the fit because he's a nickel.
Yeah.
And I'm really hard on Michigan cornerbacks usually because I feel like when I grew up watching grew up watching the cornerbacks from Michigan, they usually are guys who kind of lock down the whole field, like Ty Law, Charles Woodson, obviously, Leon Hall. Even the kid in the Cowboys, Jordan Lewis, he was a guy who locked down the side in college. So this kid is a little different from that, but also he plays tough and he's physical and he plays with that grit. He's somebody that Whit will love, definitely.
Yes.
Because it's not just like you said, the swag and the leadership. He got that dog where he's hungry and he's ready to make a play and he doesn't back down from a challenge. So I like if at first I was like, but then I was like the fit. It's all about the fit.
Yeah.
You have him playing nickel, I think it'll definitely work. Go ahead,
I think the fit works because as we spoke about Emmanuel Forbes last year,
Yeah.
playing in a system that was outside of himself.
Yeah.
This kid is a natural ball hawk because of his wide receiver experience. That dog that you guys are talking about is evidence in him asking for a position change to the other side of the ball because he wanted to see a fit for himself on this team, seeing where that's going. We talk about the leadership, spending the years that he spent at school. But you have a fast twitch kind of guy. You have another guy that can play in a primarily zone scheme where he's looking in at the quarterback and like you said, he's anticipating routes because he's a former wide receiver and knows depths. He knows how if you get to a certain depth on the field, it can only be a possible certain amount of routes or combination of routes. And he trusts his instincts. He trusts his eyes. He knows he has the hands to make the plays. And then when he catches it, he's bound to go score 6. So I think his frame is the only thing that makes people question something. But I think we've seen a corner like him before in the NFL. He used to play for the Minnesota Vikings and Antoine Winfield because of the way that he comes up and he supports in the run. So I really like that pick. I think it helps put everybody in their proper position in the defensive secondary. I think Martin that came in last year as a Buffalo nickel can play safety and be a little bit more natural. He can, and they can be interchangeable with him, Defoe, and figuring out what they're going to do with in the spot that Cam Curl left, the void that he left. So I think that pushes everybody to a certain place, and this regime clearly has a plan.
No, I agree with all that. I just think that was a good. I mean, I think like Candi said, they have a theme. They want leaders. He's a leader. I mean, he was a leader in the secondary on the national championship team. So you look at and he's a champion. I think that's something that you bring to the table too. I think more than anything, he's a champion. And he's a contributing champ. He's a contributor on that championship squad.
A big contributor.
A big contributor. So I think that's something that you look at this team. I know we talk about the Alabama dudes or some of the folks at Ohio State. They've had success in college, but I do think there's something about getting a player from a winning program, especially a program that just won a national championship, because now it's like okay. This is how I've learned how to play winning football, and you have coaches who are new to the organization, but they've won in other places, and then you have an exec who's been to the Super Bowl, right, with the San Francisco 49ers. So like now you're bringing in winners, and you have guys who kind of like you're now cultivating a winning environment, which
Right.
with the other coach, you weren't really doing that. So,
Indeed. Candi,
Mhm.
with the third selection in the second round, the Commanders picked Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State, a tight end, a position of need since Logan Thomas is no longer with the team, and the team is and also have an aging Zach Ertz there that they signed this offseason. What did you think of that selection?
So here's what Ben told us. Ben said his name is pronounced Senate.
is Senate for real? Okay, so I've been saying it
Senate,
wrong the whole time, bro.
I
Thank
think
you.
everybody's been saying it wrong.
I've been
Myself,
expecting to see it.
everybody.
Senate.
I
How's
think
it Senate?
AT
It's
said it wrong.
where's it? Where? See, I'm
But I'm
telling
gonna
you,
have to ask them next week. We'll
see
have
these
to say it again.
names. I'm telling you, they be
It's Ben
remixing
Senate.
names.
Shame
I'm
on
gonna
me too. Shame on me being a reading teacher on the pod and not
Nah,
knowing
man, but it's
the
spelled. It ain't
vowel
spelled like
sounds.
Mo. It ain't spelled like that though.
Right, because we all said it, and then we
Where's
had
the
to run it back.
where's
Like I
the
think he
it?
said
It's a
Senate.
not. It says a not. Where's the
Yeah,
it?
I think Adam Peters told us not too. That's what we thought it was. I will confirm next week, but I swear
No,
that's
because
what he
Lake
said.
said
He
that
was like,
Lake told me the
it's Senate.
same
We
thing,
were
and I
like,
wanted to. Candy
Wole,
Lake told me the same thing, and I wanted to correct him, but he was so confident. I was like, nah, I guess you're right.
Wole, that's where our West African parents come with the rules of the English language.
I know, I'm serious. You're right. That's what I'm saying. My dad would be like, rest in peace. My dad would be like, schedule. He's like, that's not the right way to say it.
Right.
It should do it. Should do it. That's the right way you say it.
So Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State, tight end, pick 53 in the second round. The third selection in the second round by the Commanders, who got really busy in the second round. What do we think of him, and what is his value to this team?
I'm gonna tell you this. I know that Friday at Combine, I knew this was one of the tight ends that they really, 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 really liked. And so I said, I think Logan Thomas is gonna be out of here real soon. And maybe like an hour or two later, it was announced that he was going to be released. So I'm like, okay, I think this is one where Coach Rye, the new tight ends coach, got his guy. Right? This is a player, and they've been talking and they've been careful on how they word this in terms of Ben Sinnott reminding Adam Peters and others of some of the 49ers tight ends. And being a bit like both of them in terms of just impactful in what they do in order to support the offense, right? So those blocking abilities as well as the ability to be explosive and make big plays. These aren't like depth players.
These are starters.
These are players that they anticipate.
Yeah.
This is how they started their foundation of their tenure, right? Where position coaches alongside with the offensive coordinators are able to say, this is who we want. After reviewing the tape, after evaluations, this is who we need. I think this player has the potential to be that tight end that we see on winning teams and being utilized as such. We know just about every Super Bowl champion has that tight end. And Ben Sinnott has the potential to be that tight end for this offense. Again, I'm gonna go back to Coach Rye. Very high on this young man. Again, he's humble, but you can tell he's ready to go. And he's excited. So many of it's just not those rumblings that you've heard of before, right? And we're not dealing with, they're nice guys. Let me be clear, they're nice guys. They're mannerable, but these are different type of people that they got coming in. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I even posted something on my page, and this is again going back to the theming, where I'm like, is it me or is everybody around here a little aggressive? I mean, not in a bad way, but just the vibe is different. And he's going to be somebody that's going to get after it. And he's going to be somebody that's going to help, the B-Robs, the Austin Ecklers get down the field to make a big play.
I heard you say that they were trying to be careful with how the anointing of him and what they thought of him. When you said that, I thought that you were going to go back in time in Washington Commanders history and compare him to another former tight end or H-back that I thought his game was a little like in Chris Cooley. Same kind of stature, 6'3", 250-ish. Played a lot of fullback because he helped in the blocking. That's what his. I think that's where his value was. That's where his
Utah, like Utah State, when he went to Utah State.
Indeed, the way that this kid Ben Sinnott blocks, and he was listed at fullback at a certain point in his career because of the way he supported the run game. But then they started to see him in space. Like he led the team in receiving yards last year. At Kansas State, so starting the games that he started. So I think they have a piece there that they're willing to build on that can learn from Zach Ertz this year or for part of the year before he takes over and competes.
I like that he's a hands guy. So if you look at it, like he's a hands guy and he's athletic too. He got some bounce to him. No, he's definitely a different type of tight end that they brought in compared to what they brought in the past under Rivera. He's a guy that seems like he's a decent route runner. He gets into the seams. Not putting him on any level of like a Kittle or anything like that, but he does have good tools where you look at it and say, you know what, he's a versatile tight end. And what I mean by that, like Mo said, he could be H-back, he could be a fullback, you put him tight end. And the most important thing, in my opinion, is that he's a guy that, and Mo said this, which I do think it makes it so important in formations. He's a guy that can be a pass catcher and a guy who can block. It's not one or the other. And I think Washington has been looking for the problem for Washington. The problem with Washington is they've been over the last some odd years. This is even before since you could say since Chris Cooley, because even Jordan Reed, as much as he was just so dominant as a pass catcher, that's what made him so thorough. Right. But when he was out there, you blocking wasn't his thing. Right. So, but this is a good in this situation. It's where you don't like tip the hat in a formation, knowing that you have this kid on the line, like blocking. You could be like, you can run play action, and now you can get them open because now they can't assume that it's just a run play. You know what I mean? They can't assume nothing. You can run it off of it, or you can throw off of it. So it's just so much you can go off of it. So your play action game is probably be more dangerous with this kid out there. Senate. That's why how you say it. Senate. Yeah. Senate. Yeah, I'm gonna say Senate. That's a not Senate. So in terms of that, I think that's what he brings value in the offense that way. So when you're talking about other guys like Amari Rodgers, who they tend to like, who Rivera liked, I'm not gonna say this who Rivera liked, or Cole Turner, who I like, but Cole Turner again isn't a guy who can block. This is a guy who can do both. And I feel like when you have a guy who can pass catch and block, that is the best. That you're in the best world of a tight end of having that type of having a good offense, because now defenses can't just hone in on one thing. They got to hone in on everything.
Right. Yeah. And this staff, what these guys were good at in college, that's what they want them to do in the NFL.
Very important.
Right.
Very important.
This is not a regime that wants to change people. Right. They want to rely on their strengths and really tailor plays based on that. Really have them play to get better. Right. Not saying that they're just going to play at the same level they did at college. No, they're going to bring that same energy, and these coaches are going to help to enhance the things that they did well in college and continue to do that. Right. I think that's a key. So when we're saying, speaking specifically on Ben Sinnott, as you all already mentioned, we've often seen tight ends, they'll bring in tight ends that are good at one thing or the other.
Yeah.
That's not Ben Sinnott.
Yeah, this is good. This is a good one. This is actually a really good one. I actually like this one a lot. Actually, when I was watching tape on him, I was like, okay, this works. This works. This can work. This can really work. Like, depending on like the maturation of the quarterback, this can really be a successful player.
Definitely. I'm excited about him.
Speaking of the quarterback, the fourth selection on day 2 was Brandon Coleman, a tackle/guard out of TCU in the 3rd round with the 67th pick. with the 67 pick. Wole has the highlights up right now. We're talking about a kid that stands 6'4", 312, 13 pounds, athletic. What do you think his value to this team will be coming in from TCU at the 67 pick?
Number 77. That's his jersey number, FY. Just let folks know that.
He's that tackle on this play right here on the screen,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Showing his versatility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And protecting the quarterback.
Yeah.
Protecting the quarterback.
It's Michigan too.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, protecting the quarterback. So let's pull on that thread a little bit, right? Like these guys, they've played at the highest level. I mean, some people will say, okay, so did the Alabama guys that are still left on the team. Yeah, true.
Mm.
However, you have multiple players that played at the highest level that understands how important it is to play their position well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what you're going to see out of Brandon. He understands, which is needed, right? From an offensive line, you have to protect the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, he's super excited to be a Washington Commander, someone who was really excited about the potential to be a Washington Commander. One of those players that was at the pro day, at the national pro day, that it was so much focus on the quarterbacks, they forgot about all the other players that were there. It's like it wasn't just quarterbacks there, y'all. It was other people that were there. And he was one of them that was there. And he just wants to do his job, and he wants to do it well. And he understands that doing it well is protecting the quarterback and getting the plays off. He understands his position, and he's willing, and he's also ready to learn. He's hungry, he's tough, he's smart, but above all else, you not getting to the quarterback on his watch. That's what it feels like. That's the vibe he's getting. That's what I've seen from watching his highlights. That's what I've gathered from reading his bio. Whatever he can do to protect the quarterback and hold down his side of the line, that's what he's going to do. Someone else that has that leadership, aggression, characteristic coming in the door. So they're bringing that. It was somebody asked me not too long ago. It was about the coaching staff, but I kind of can relate this to this draft class as well, where they were like, "Are you concerned about all the type A's in the room?" And I was like, "No, it's about time."
You're talking about a kid in the fashion that you, the way you're speaking of him. On top of the athleticism he has, he ran under a sub 540. He had a 34-inch vertical leap, which we know doesn't mean much, but it lets us know that there's some explosive power behind him with all that weight that he's carrying. So talking about a kid that has position flexibility, I don't think that anybody on this podcast right now would turn their nose up at an offensive line addition for this Commanders team after what we've seen over the last couple of years. So get as many big, skilled, fast, athletic guys in here and help protect that number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, I like this pick. At first, I wanted like Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they packaged two second rounders and tried to trade up to see maybe they can get Olu from Penn State. I would have tried to at least try hard to see if I can get Olu.
Top 10 pick though, Wole.
Olu was on top 10. He was Jets.
But the Jets moved back. They moved back a couple of
I'm saying, but he was dropping. Like that's what I'm saying. When he was dropping, I thought he should be in the top 10. He was dropping. That's why I was like, I saw him out of the top 10, I was like, hey, why not? Like, why not? Like you got a quarterback. Why not package that and get the best, to me, arguably the best tackle in the game, the best left tackle in this draft. We talked about it for a while. He was
number 1 for a long time.
Number 1, and all of a sudden the Notre Dame dude rushed it, and now he's dropping a little bit. But that's neither here nor there. But I would have done that was where I was at. But after watching clips on dude and then saying you know what, and then thinking to myself what the moves Washington did make in terms of the second round, what they did getting out of those second round picks, I'm like. And they didn't reach on anybody else, which I do like. You know what I mean? Even Tyler Guyton, as much as I do like him, I don't think he's a day 1 starter. Just like I don't think that for the Cowboys, they may stretch him. I don't think he's a day 1 starter. I do think that in Brandon Coleman, he's not a day 1 starter, but you can work with him to a point where you make him into something that could be something good because he does play with a nasty mentality. He plays without he's athletic, and also we showed a clip against Michigan. To me, your battle test that national championship game. He held his own at national championship. Yeah. The national championship game, the semi-championship game. He held his own against Michigan when TCU played Michigan in the playoffs. So I think that says a lot. You know, man, it says a lot that he's battle tested. He did a good job. I do think that and I think that if he doesn't, this for me, if he doesn't work out the tackle, I think
always push him inside the guard.
I think he could be an awesome guard. Like he could be not just a good guard. I think he could be a Pro Bowl caliber guard.
The athleticism jumps off the chart. Like that's what I was about to say. Like imagine a world after all of the offensive line woes that this team has experienced. Imagine a world where he can get kicked in the guard in emergency relief, or he can be a swing tackle whenever needed. That versatility and how far that's going to go for this team, especially that we know that offensive linemen will and are prone to get hurt.
Yep.
Facts. Straight facts. So, yeah.
The next pick, though, I think was the pick that made fans the most excited in the middle rounds because of the lineage, because of the last name associated with the player and what they know about the brother and the father that came before him. Here is the third line of McCaffrey. Well, this is really like the fourth line of McCaffreys that have made it to the NFL with the selection of Luke McCaffrey out of Rice with the number 100 pick in the draft. Commanders selected him as their final pick of the third round. What do we see Luke McCaffrey bringing to the Commanders and helping in order to help Jayden Daniels in his progression?
You know, you all probably saw me smiling and smirking, and I'm sitting here looking at my notes because we were what was it, late Friday night? Yes, because this was pick 100, and we had gone into the auditorium for the press conference with Adam Peters, and we were like, they haven't picked yet, but okay, maybe they already know who they're gonna pick or whatever, you know, just hey. And we're sitting there waiting for the press conference to start. Our phones start buzzing. And I didn't even look at my phone because I was tired. And I was just like, all right, based on where I'm sitting, I'd already been handed the microphone. I was like, let me just wait, you know, until the press conference start. And so I said, they just drafted Luke McCaffrey. I was like, no way. They drafted Luke McCaffrey? And we were like, yeah. I said, oh, Adam Peters wanted his Christian McCaffrey at wide receiver. That's what he just did. And that's what he did.
Yep, that's definitely what he did.
That's what he did. He got Christian McCaffrey at wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what bigger statement you would want to make in terms of what you plan to do at wide receiver. You know, from a foundation, who you want to be, the thing. That's who you pick, Christian McCaffrey, little brother, and he's good. No, like I'm not just saying it because he's Christian McCaffrey's little brother.
I have a whole different discussion. I don't even go ahead though.
You don't like him? I think he's.
No, I don't. I ain't gonna lie.
I think he's good. I do. Well, now, of course, he might get a little hype because.
Yeah, I think that's what he's getting though. But it's okay though. But I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say the reason why I think. Because I'm. Like this is the reason why I think he's okay. I don't think he's bad. I won't say he's bad because he got to this level. So I'm not saying he's bad. I will not do that. But I look at like the game, the competition. Like I look at some of the tough games he played. Like I look at SMU and I look at the game against Texas. And for me, I always like how I look at it is you're a baller. You're gonna like show your imprint in those type of games. Those are big games. Like you want to show out against better competition. And he really he just didn't show out. Now he played good in conference against like I want to say South Florida. He had 100 like almost 20 yards. That's South Florida. But in terms of when he was up to play against SMU, which I believe was like 22 in the country at the time, we already know Texas. He didn't produce those numbers. I mean, I felt like, and I know everyone talks about like the route running, but and also like, and obviously the name, McCaffrey name. It's very important. It's very important. And I'm not saying it, and I could be wrong. I'm cool, but like I want to put this premise out there to folks that I could be wrong. But it sounds like to me, like when they describe him, it's just like when they describe Ryan Grant to me, when they describe Dax Mills to me.
Now wait a minute. Now
Trey Quinn. He's like,
Candi,
I'm glad of you.
Candi, let me get him.
Go ahead, go for it.
Let me get him. This guy right here.
Go ahead.
Well, man, you talking about 6'2" out? Like you're talking about a former quarterback.
Quarterback. I know exactly. Yeah,
he's growing in. He's growing into this position. Yeah. He didn't play with an elite quarterback. Yeah. He was the target for his school. So I get what you're saying against Texas.
When you're the target, that means you're supposed to get a lot of.
But when you're playing up in level against we're talking about a top 3 team in the nation.
You can play up now. You can play up too, though. But go ahead.
I mean, he's going to play up now, but he's not. But he's not the number one. There is a Terry McLaurin on his team. There is a Zach Ertz. There is an Eckler in the backfield, right?
Even those backups were the best players in like the back. You know,
I understood, but he's a 3rd round pick, close to a 4th round pick. Wole, you're talking about a height, weight, speed guy right now. You're talking about a guy that's 6'2", almost 200 pounds. He's running 4.4. He runs routes immaculately. Okay. If at worst, he's the backside receiver on the play.
That's facts.
At worst, right? At best,
I agree.
He comes, you slide him into the slot. He's a big body slot. Him and Jer'zhan can be interchangeable. You have route runners galore. He is the biggest body receiver
on the team. I know he's a big body receiver for them. I totally agree.
Out of the 3,
yeah.
If he does nothing but become a possession receiver who can extend drives and get first downs, that's is a win for this team.
That's good. That's very good.
That is a win for this team. So,
I'm hollering. You called that man tax meal. Oh my God.
I sure did. I sure did. I know. Look, I sure did. I was watching when I watch film, and I hate because somebody was like, "Oh yeah, he's just as fast as Christian McCaffrey." All right, you know what? 40 time is 40 time. When you watch him on the field, that dude gets walked. Like he gets walked on field. Luke McCaffrey gets walked. Christian McCaffrey don't get walked. Like it's the difference on field speed and then 40 times speed. I think people like Terrell Owens 40 times speed was trash. But in a game, he's not getting walked. You don't catch Theo. Like Jerry Rice 40 times. Jerry Rice 40 times wasn't great.
Yep.
In the game, he ain't getting walked. So I do think in the game, his game speed ain't the same. Like, you see him at the 40 because there's some people that translate. Because people see 4.4, they're like, he fast. I mean, he's 40 times fast, but game speed fast. He ain't the same type of speed. I'm just saying, I'm not to me when people talk about putting the slot, I'm still more enamored, and that's just me. I'm more enamored with how the Cowboys use CeeDee Lamb or how the Bills did use Stephon Diggs. When you can move Terry in the slot, have Diami outside and whatever, and then still run it that way. Because Diami can't play slot, but Terry and Jer'zhan can play slot at times. You go in that unit, and then you got Terry against a weaker corner, just like CeeDee Lamb does when he goes against a weaker corner, and them dudes can eat. I'd rather have utilize Terry McLaurin.
The Cowboys have a veteran quarterback, and they force-feed to CeeDee Lamb.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm just talking about
completely force-feed to CeeDee Lamb.
I'm arguing that, but I'm just saying that you can get your best receiver.
You move people around.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Kingsbury do that. Kingsbury would do
that's
that.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather have when people talk about, we got our slot. I'm like, dude, I'm cool with having Terry play slot at times because he did that with. I don't like mentioning this coordinator's name, but the guy who used to be here before Eric Bieniemy. Terry was in the slot would do the time, and Terry would eat. He would eat. So I'm just saying, you can move when people get fascinated with slot. We got a slot guy, dog. You can put Terry in the slot, and he can fry better than the dude that you want to move in the slot, and then you would have all world numbers.
But Wole, what if you could have 3 guys across the board that are interchangeable?
I don't think McCaffrey's that much interest. I don't think he's that.
I think that, but that's what I see, Mo. I see what we did not see last year was Terry and Jer'zhan being used as the dual threat that they absolutely could be. I believe. Let's hope, Lord, please, those are your people, right? You bring in a Luke McCaffrey or even a Diami, right? Or if that's the way it goes, and you can still use them interchangeably, right? That's what I'm hoping happens. That's what I'm hoping, because remember, we didn't even really see Jer'zhan last year or Terry, but we didn't see Jer'zhan last year.
Not at all.
So
he had some wild comments too. You heard this? You saw his comments? I mean, I'm sure you did.
I was
The
standing
comments was
over there when he
crazy.
said it because
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
it was wild.
I
Like he
mean,
said, like I've been traded, like I was traded.
it is different. I mean,
He's like, this
here's
game's
the
so
thing:
different, like I've been traded.
Jahan Dotson and Sam Cosmi are truth tellers. Not that everybody else is not, but they just gonna you ask them a question, they're gonna answer it.
Wow, no filter, huh? No filter.
None,
That's
and
wild.
I
none at
mean,
all.
that's that first round bruised ego. Wole, I'm gonna remix it a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
The final three picks of the draft were Jordan McGee, linebacker out of Temple in the fifth round with the
I like him
139th
a
pick.
lot.
We had Dominique Hampton, the safety out of Washington,
Mhm.
also in the fifth round with the 161st pick. And then they capped it off with Javante Jean-Baptiste, the D end out of out of Notre Dame in the seventh round with the 222nd pick to fill out the draft class. Out of those three picks, which one of those three picks do you think is going to have the most substantial impact on the team next year?
I think Jordan McGee. I mean, I know. Well, they have. I like Jordan McGee. Maybe that's just my
I like
my
you good.
bias.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But that's my answer to that
Mhm.
question. Uh, but here's why. I mean, he's definitely a depth player. Of course, he will have to work his way in. He'll have to make an impact on things like special teams and the special teams unit, of course, working under Coach Larry Izzo. But I think that you put him in a room of the veterans that they've pulled in, right? From the Bobby Wagner, and I'm not including Jamin in this. I'm just including the free agent pickup.
Louvu.
Definitely Frankie Louvu, right? And this kid can definitely be special.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
Is he a
if
project for the
if they
future?
don't, I think he may be a project. I mean, you got to remember they didn't pick up Jamin's fifth year option.
Exactly. That's what I was
So
asking.
I believe that this is the just in case, hey, everybody can come along
Mm-hmm.
going forward. But hey, if this don't work out with you, Jamin, we got somebody else. And it's
Hey,
fine. And it's okay. That's what I think is going to
No,
happen here.
I think too. I mean,
It's-
I think that's definitely on the table. I do think that's
Mhm.
on the table. I think that I think this kid's going to be the future Mike linebacker for this team. That's how highly I think
Mhm.
of Jordan
I'm alive.
Jordan McGee. I think that within a couple, not this season, but because Bobby Wagner's on a 1 year deal, I
Yes.
believe. So I think he's going to sit behind Bobby because James is not playing Mike, so that's not a
Right.
thing.
Right.
So James is going to be the other any other week or whatever. So you're going to have you're going to have Jordan McGee learn from Bobby Wagner. He's sideline to sideline. He's if you can see he seeks and destroys. He fits again what Witt was talking about what kind of guys he wants in the building like and
Yeah.
Dan Quinn. These are guys that are about uh, putting pain to the offensive player. And he's a guy that when Commander fans for years are saying like looking at the drive and say I want this type of linebacker. Truth be told, he is that type of linebacker. He had
Yes.
hit over by I think he had like 80 tackles in Temple.
Mhm.
I think he was second team at Temple, but he's a guy that is getting better. He was getting better every year. He's a guy who plays the linebacker position, and just when you watch him on film, you say to yourself, "That's." I don't even say like when we saw Jamin, we're like, "That's a project." I think at Mike, you look at him, you're just like, "Okay, you are defined. You are a Mike linebacker, and you play this position with that sideline to sideline, ruthless aggression, seek and destroy type of game." And I think to
I
me, within a couple years, he's the Mike linebacker.
Mhm.
and to your point about the seek and destroy, I think that his immediate impact is on special teams.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
do think that he needs to add a little bit more to his frame to be that Mike linebacker that you
Yeah.
think he's
Mhm.
going to be.
Mhm.
And I think that seek and destroy mentality typically bites him in the what when it comes to coverage because he's going to have to do that as a Mike linebacker, especially
Yeah, that's
within
what
the
you got.
system. He's going to have to figure out space.
That's why you
So
get Mike
I
Wagner.
I
That's why
about to say
you
yeah. I'm about to say, but he has the best teacher
get
that he can
Yes.
afford as a rookie in the league. At linebacker. With that said, with the 9 overall draft picks that the team made over the weekend, last weekend, Candy, what letter grade would you give the Commanders for this draft this year, and why?
I am a B.
This is up. That's fair.
What stopped you from being overzealous and giving them an A?
Because I don't have a left
She's real,
tackle.
man. That's why.
Huh?
I need a left tackle.
He's a legit left tackle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Legit. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do, and they don't. I mean, I don't know. I'm still not convinced they're done.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of money left.
There's a lot of money left, and maybe they're gonna see what happens with being able to use some of these versatile linemen, right? And seeing it's almost like a. I mean, this isn't. They're not done, right? They're not done. This team. This roster isn't the roster. It's not the thing. It's not that. It's not yet. This is this regime's first go at this, right? But I think they did a tremendous job in getting They drafted who fits the theme.
Yeah,
I feel like this
thing straight up.
To go to the theme part, I feel like they had an idea in mind, and they started to fill in the roster on the second and third level. Also, like they did that with that in mind. Also, knowing that there's players for now, they can save on some of that money. Next year's another off season, and some players will be groomed and cultivated to be where they need to be. So I want to ask Wole, do you agree with that assessment that this draft was overall a B?
Oh, a B's fine.
A B is fine.
A B is fine. Okay. I ain't give it an A. I mean, it's just an A is a little bit too much, and I wasn't gonna give it a B plus. The left tackle.
You think that's a glaring enough hole?
I do, but I'm biased because I've been asking them to draft the next Trent Williams. They were like
for a long time.
I'm with you there too. I'm with you.
That's probably just me not being realistic, but I think it's important. I think it's
very important. I'm just not cool with Dax Min being my third round pick. But I'm
about to say, speaking of cornerstone, right? Speaking of cornerstone positions, we just talked about the lack of addressing the left tackle at an optimum rate. But the one player we haven't talked about this entire pod in length, at least, was the number 2 overall pick, quarterback Jayden Daniels out of LSU, former Heisman winner. Yeah. Do you think they got the right man at number 2 to lead this team?
I think so. I hope so. Lord knows. I mean, I don't think this team.
Okay, so what is the difference between your thought and your hope? Because one is leaning on the brain and the other one is leaning on the heart.
I mean, listen. I don't take this regime to be the regime that wants to pick in the top 10 going forward. So Jayden Daniels is their guy. This is the face of the franchise. Now they're going to support him. They're going to do all that they need, but there is no quarterback competition. There is no, this is it. Yeah. And this is who they're trusting to be the face of the franchise, right? He has the swag, the confidence, played at the highest level. This is your Heisman Trophy winner, and he is teachable. He's taking it all in. But you have to surround a dog with other dogs. Yeah. So the key for me is going to be how is the returning roster going to respond? That's what I want to see. I need to see Terry McLaurin be everything. Get all your top people. Get them the foot. B-Rob, Austin Eckler, feed them, get them down the field. Run the football, right? Whatever it is, Zach Ertz, Ben Sinnott, if it still ends up being Cole Turner on the team as well, get it to them. I need the defense to be disruptive. Be who you were supposed to be when you had 5 first rounders on the defensive line. Be that, right? It's no longer time for talk, and they don't want to talk. This coaching staff does not want to talk. Now, I know they can't address everything in an offseason. I know I made the comment about about the left tackle, but let me say something. I've been down on the linebacker position for years. Mm-hmm. They got that one together. They got that one together. And they didn't get anything else together. Ken Norton Jr. and Joe Witt Jr. said this is too important. Give us a couple more pieces on the defensive line and please get this linebacker position in order. That position weighs so much on a defense. I don't think people realize.
Yeah. And you talk about the swing that they did there with bringing in Bobby Wagner after he led the league in tackles last year in his what 12th 13th year.
Yeah,
I think that acquisition was invaluable. Like,
right.
and what he brings from a leadership standpoint, from understanding this scheme through and through, he is the face of this scheme. He is the
Oh, he's
face of
definitely
a
sure.
of a cover three Mike linebacker. You talk about a future Hall of Famer, first ballot, no question,
Easy,
in the middle of your defense with the disruptive
easy.
interior that they have. If these defensive ends give anything,
Yeah,
the
anything.
job of the secondary should be so much simpler this year.
So
Emmanuel
easy.
Forbes should not have to deal with half of the stuff he dealt with. If
Yep.
people stay healthy and these guys you adding people like St. Strill and in this man, the linebacker position, as you said, they knocked that out the park.
They knocked it
Yeah.
out.
They knocked that out the park.
But to your quarterback thing though, I will say this though. I just hope I hope fans are patient. You know what I mean? Like I think folks have already anointed Jaden Daniels as already like he's going to be him off his rookie season, and I'm gonna keep saying like
It comes with the territory, Wole. The man
no,
won the
well, I'm
Heisman.
talking about this fan base though. I'm talking about this fan base.
Oh
He
yeah.
won the Heisman.
Yeah, you just want him to be solid.
And
I
he's
keep
multiple.
saying, just want him to be solid.
You just want him to improve towards the end of the season.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Right.
Like you can start off bumpy. That happens. You know what I'm saying? But you just want him to get better as the season goes on. And then also you want to, I think, we could talk about Terry. I think Terry and them are going to be fine. We can talk about the running backs and the players. Real talk. We got to talk about the coaches. That's where it's going to really be on for him.
Oh yeah.
Because if I'm not putting anything on him in terms, like I'm not going to be negative on him if they struggle. I'll be negative on the coaches because you have to put him in a situation to be successful. Like what I mean by not to be like CJ Stroud or anything, but just to keep his confidence going. You know what I'm saying? Because like you have questions about the offensive line, right? And I think that's valid. I think you should have questions about the offensive line. And we know we've all done our history with rookie quarterbacks. Typically, if your offensive line is scary bad, your rookie quarterback isn't going to be successful.
Correct.
And that can also play a role for their careers in the NFL. Like year one can traumatize you for year two.
Derek Carr?
Yeah, Derek Carr.
Not Derek Carr, David Carr.
David Carr. There's a lot of evidence to that. So like that's why to your point, Candy, no one's saying Brandon Coleman starting off the rip. I don't think he's that good off the rip. It looks like Lucas may be your starting left tackle. Lucas has done good in spot duty, but again, I'm not really saying I'm going to be comfortable with Lucas starting at left tackle.
Right.
But I would be comfortable with them getting, the second rate wave as free agents. Look what's available. Maybe get a vet. I'm not saying we're not looking for Trent. I'm with you. Not looking for Trent, but somebody who's accountable, like somebody that you can rely on a little bit to a point where he's not useless at tackle. Because at the end of the day, you're building for your quarterback's confidence. That's what you're doing in year one. Because there are things about Jaden Daniels isn't a dude that's known to get the ball out quick. He's not.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And college is different from the NFL. Like he's not going to get that same time he got at LSU. LSU had a good offensive line. He's not going to have that same time in the league. And his numbers with pressure isn't the best. If you look at his number and pressure in college, which a lot of quarterbacks are, I think that stat is kind of dated because I think if you get a lot of pressure, typically you're not going to have good numbers, when you get pressure. But the NFL is a different beast, and then you're in a conference, and you're in a division with elite pass rushers. You know what I mean? You're going against Dallas. You're going against the Giants. You're going against the Eagles. These teams have elite pass rushers. Yeah. So it's important. It's imperative for them to if you're going to have to throw him out there because again, if Mariota starts over him, that's an indictment on him.
Oh yeah, that way we'll never.
Mariota starts over him. That is an indictment on Jaden Daniels because Mariota is not good enough at throwing the football. Forget even at throwing the football to beat out Jaden Daniels. So I think it's important for the second wave of free agency for this team to pick up some potential starters at tackle, so he doesn't feel pressure like he has to carry this ball club because it's going to be different from he's going to have the outside weapons. I'm not concerned about the outside weapons. I'm really not. Yeah. I'm concerned about having to watch. Now you're starting to look at the pressure rather than looking at your receivers, and that can happen.
Candy, you mentioned something that I could not let go. You mentioned this idea of having dogs, being surrounded by dogs. Seeing that we believe that Jaden Daniels is the right person for this team to lead them at quarterback. Other than Jaden Daniels, I'm gonna give you a two-part question. I'm putting you on a hot seat here. Who was your favorite draft pick, and who was your least favorite draft pick out of the 9 that were selected?
That's probably that's a good question. That's a good question. My favorite, because I have to wait until after I go through the Zoom calls.
Just after the selection, just when you heard
or
it,
just
like
after the selection.
Just say it's Luke McCaffrey. Just say it.
Luke McCaffrey. There you go. All right, all right, fine. It was Luke. I was like,
I told you, dog.
I knew it, like, and I kind of felt like, let me also tell you why I was like they just drafted Luke McCaffrey, because I felt like I should have known that Adam Peters was going to draft him. He was still available. He was there, and they were going to get one. It was definitely
all the intel too.
Everybody, I'm telling the truth. I know he gonna be like, don't do well. Well, they gonna be like, well, there you go, Candy. But I don't know. I don't know if I had a least favorite. But when I heard it, it was Mike. What is it?
Your shock. It was your shock. You was shocked.
I was mad because the Eagles got who I wanted.
Okay. Yeah, right. They got better players. I know.
But that was me just being.
Which Eagles? Eagles got two. Eagles got 2 good players. Which one you talking about? Which cornerback?
They got Quentin out of Toledo. And they got Cooper DeJean.
DeJean, all right, bro.
They got
people racist though, but DeJean like that. It's that racist stuff.
I wanted Cooper DeJean. They got Cooper DeJean with the pick that they traded with the Commanders.
So it was like a double-edged sword. It was a double-edged sword.
There. With that next pick, I was losing it.
That's when they got. When we got Michigan cornerback, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, but then I had to, do my research to be fair.
It was racist. That's why teams are racist. They
listen, man.
A white quarterback. That's messed up.
The last team that started a white cornerback.
I know y'all did. The Giants. I know.
I was chomping at the bit. I was like, please.
But Cooper DeJean was good. I don't know what he's gonna be with the Eagles, but
they're gonna be like that. I'm gonna tell you.
That's what I said. I said him like in that secondary. I was oh no.
Let me tell you one thing about. I know like folks don't like to hear this. Man, the Eagles do draft them well, man.
Very good.
They do it well. Eagles do the offseason well, man.
I don't know what they do. I don't know. They think ahead. They leap years ahead of folks. I don't even know. Like they identify their problems and they really go at it and they get the best players at it.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like cornerback was weak, and they arguably got probably one of the arguably the best cornerbacks.
They arguably got both two of the top 3.
Exactly, bro.
They did
exactly, and then they throw in, and then they get they lost. Then they got Saquon, but they add Will Shipley.
Yeah,
like they just do it better than other people. Real talk. They just
so when they let players walk, it's like I always get nervous. Like, oh no, because they about to kill it in draft. They already know who they want.
They got Jeremiah Trotter, son. They got his son, and for a while he was supposed to be vicious, and then he obviously had an off year. But they just know, and he's gonna fit whatever they want him to do. Like what they want out of him, they're not gonna make him. They're not gonna put him in coverage. Like they're gonna make him. They're gonna put him in a situation.
He's gonna be a 2-down linebacker.
Like his father. His father wasn't good coverage. The same thing. So.
And they don't even care. Like you can have a bad record. You can like be like not even like a good person. They don't care.
Yeah, I know. They like nasty attitudes. Like they like me.
They
like me.
They
don't care about character. They don't care about character. They're like me. They're very consistent. They're just like me. Don't care about character.
To round up the favorite draft pick was Luke. The one that you initially
Luke was your favorite.
About was Mike.
Your favorite.
That was the one that I was like, oh wow. I did.
That initial.
Most questions about the initial.
Initial.
Oh man.
That was the end of my questions. I'm gonna pass it over to Wole to
Well,
round
let
us
me
out.
say, I'm just gonna say my favorite was Newton.
Initial though, you guys still act.
No, I felt good about Newton. When I heard Luke McCaffrey, I was like, what are we doing here?
I will agree with you there, Wole. Newton being on enemy lines, that was the player where I was like, I hope he falls to us. Like when you guys took him, I was like,
Newton, my favorite. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing my favorite. Yeah, Luke would be my least. Yeah, he's definitely my least. I'm not even
Candi,
gonna
this man is true to his African ways. Stubborn.
my least.
Hey, too stubborn.
Yeah, he's definitely my least.
Way to call that man Ryan Grant.
Yeah, he Ryan Grant, Dax, man. Like I ain't want to be racist either. See, I put a black person in there. You see, I put a black person in there too, because I want nobody to say white people, all the same white receivers. He like Ryan Grant, Dax, man. Like all of them dudes that y'all say he ran good routes. Like y'all gonna say it's 40 time, whatever. It's 40 time. How he run? He don't run. He ain't that fast.
Man,
On
you gotta understand. This
it's okay.
Kingsbury
Look, man,
runs a lot of wide receivers.
Look, man, there's some HBCU dudes that play wide receiver. They put up numbers better than him, bro.
My goodness. Kingsbury runs a lot of receivers in and out of formations and on.
That's what's up, man. They can make him look good.
One.
Let him cook, everybody man. Look. Everybody isn't Wells Welker. Everybody isn't Edelman. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find a black
quarterback. He can build a rapport with the new quarterback.
I'm trying to find an all-world. I'm trying to find an all-world black slot receiver. I can't think of one right now.
Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry. Thank you. Saved my butt. Jarvis Landry, because I don't want to be canceled. Jarvis Landry. You know what I'm saying? All these you know what I'm saying? Like all I'm just saying is that everybody can't be those dudes. That's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking Luke McCaffrey. His father is pretty cool. He used to get concussions all the time. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
If he's anywhere in between all world and what you think he's going to be, that's better than what Jer'zhan has showed us in 2 years. But that's
Jer'zhan was good in year one. No, year one. Jer'zhan year one was like that.
So he'll fall somewhere in between that.
Nah, he's not going to be close to Jer'zhan. I'm not going to give you that. Like,
I think
Jer'zhan was not used correctly. I'm a little. Jer'zhan was bad last year too. I'm not going.
Yeah, he wasn't good at all.
He wasn't good. But like, let's not. Jer'zhan was putting up big numbers in Penn State. Like, let's not like. This kid ain't put nothing near.
Jer'zhan was a first round draft.
I know, but I'm saying I'm not comparing. I agree with you. No. I agree with you, but he's not Jer'zhan talent. Yeah, he's not Jer'zhan talent though. This kid's not Jer'zhan talent. I'm not even doing that to this. So he could be anybody daddy. He can be whoever daddy you want to be. I don't care.
So if you're a top 15 pick and you perform like a fourth rounder.
No, he's not doing his job. No. No, his rookie year, he was a seller, just that he got injured. So his rookie year was really good. You can blame who you want to blame, but he wants to blame EB. That's fine. He blamed EB. Whatever. People always blame somebody. But like, all I'm saying is I'm not comparing. I don't care who your father is. I don't care who your brother is. Like, I ain't comparing some dude who had 900 yards his best year, and the year before that was like 700 yards a receiver. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to compare him to a dude in Jer'zhan who's getting like 1,000 yards almost every year as a starter in Penn State. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to.
Listen, Penn State is Penn State. He regressed to the mean, is all I'm saying.
All I'm saying
so Jer'zhan is here now.
Jer'zhan is here. Right now, Jer'zhan is here and McCaffrey is here. He's
Jer'zhan has some proving to do. He
has to prove. No.
Yeah, now he definitely has some proving to do, because even when the lights was shining on Jer'zhan last year, he definitely dropped the ball, literally. I mean, I will say that he was not used correctly at all. But when he was called on, he didn't.
In that case, the undrafted free agents are just as good. Just as good. You want to use that comparison? They're all on the same level.
This guy's incredible.
Georgia, the undrafted dude from Georgia. They just signed an undrafted free agent from Georgia. He can be just as good as whoever. Man, the dude Tinsley, I like Tinsley. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk about him. Is he better than Tinsley?
We gotta see. I gotta see. You know, they said all veterans that were still with the team, they all returned.
What's up?
Everybody has been there. So next week is rookie camp, and then the week, OTA starts after that. So everybody's there.
Folks are gonna hate me after this podcast. I can tell. They're it's cool though. I embrace it though. I kind of love it though. I kind of love the role. Like, actually, I like trolling people. They're gonna because everybody's just gonna be so in there. I want to be wrong about Luke though too. So some people can say I told you so. But
You
actually, I
don't
know.
want to be wrong. You don't want to be wrong, man.
No, I know I'm going to be right. The problem is I know I'm going to be right.
Is
That's the
you
problem.
you
The problem is
sinister?
I
You
know
don't
I'm
want to
going
be
to be
wrong.
right. The problem is I know I'm going to be right. That's the problem. That's the issue.
If he's not good, blame the number 2 pick.
No, I'm telling you, he ain't going to be good because what's going to happen is the tight ain't going to fry. He's just going to be another player.
I mean, Luke could possibly just be another wide receiver, right? Like they'll put him on special teams or something like that. You know what I mean? Like he could just be, but I do think they need to use them interchangeably. I do, but I don't think, or situationally, right? But
yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he's better than Diami. That's all. I mean, I don't think he's better than Diami. That's all.
You just like Diami's talent. Diami.
Oh, no. You're right. No, Mo. I'm not arguing.
A tough run.
Look. I'm not arguing with you. You're right. I like the talent of Mo.
You know what's interesting? You know what? For the coaching staff, for the folks that they have kept, it will be very interesting to see if they truly use them to their strengths.
Oh, I think Diami getting cut, but that's just.
I mean, he probably will, but I mean, you know.
I didn't want to be the person to say it.
No, I know it. I know what time it is. You got a new regime. Come on, man. Let's keep it a buck. He's probably unless he has the greatest camp in the world.
Unless he has the greatest camp in the world,
or
his homeboy ain't there chucking it up to him no more.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Ain't looking good, bro. Ain't looking good. And then Mariota's your backup quarterback, throw you the ball in preseason. That sucks. That sucks. I'm sorry.
Marcus Mariota isn't that bad.
You can't tell Wole that. You can't tell Wole that.
I mean, no, he's not that good either. But he's not like
he throwing frisbee football. That thing is trash. Wow, that boy should not be. I'd rather get Gardner Minshew or something like. Oh.
But you act like Gardner Minshew ain't an upper echelon backup quarterback.
It's awesome. That's why we got him. That way, the rookie doesn't have to be on a fourth Jaden to start.
Jaden needed to start from day one anyway. Jaden needs to start from day one. Jaden don't need to sit on nobody bench.
No, if you're going to start Jaden, this is real talk. You want to look. This is what I'm saying. This is let me feel about we end short. Because you don't want to be in a position. I'm being real. Like you don't want to be in a position where you're so bad that you're back at 1, 2, 3. Like you don't want to be in that situation. I'm gonna tell you why you don't want to be in 1, 2, 3. Because this is a kid in Colorado that could like be the Heisman of Heisman, and then you're gonna have that thought process. If your quarterback don't look great, the same way like folks started like turn on Carolina. If folks were saying if Carolina didn't trade away their picks, they would have been cool with taking Caleb over, and they just drafted Bryce Young. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but Carolina has its own inequities. Carolina has a bunch of problems. Nobody would look good in Carolina.
I know, I agree. But I'm saying you don't want to put yourself in that situation.
Y'all ain't coming back with no Shedeur Sanders, no matter how bad it gets. And it ain't going to be that bad.
No. I'm not saying that, but you don't want to put yourself in that situation. Why? Like, look, why chance it? Why even chance? Like, so about this is my thing. If Jaden struggles, right? Just say he struggles, right? And then you want to sit him because you want to mess his mentality up. You want to sit him just to, and like anything, you can sit him. You sitting him for Marcus Mariota, bro. For Marcus, you're not winning games with Marcus Mariota. You're putting yourself in a situation to be in a low, which is good if you want to be a low draft pick.
Right, but you can get a low draft pick and get something else of need, like a left tackle next year, because there'll always be another left tackle.
Let's talk NFL, bro. Let's be realist.
Wole, that's happened with your scenario that you're mentioning, that you're warning against, has happened like twice in the last 20 years.
No, because it happened to Arizona.
That's right. That's twice in the last 20 years.
Because usually doesn't happen. Your team doesn't be it doesn't get that bad. Like typically when you draft a rookie, name me a rookie quarterback that's been drafted and they fall all the way, they fall to that section.
I mean, the last one was Josh.
That doesn't happen often.
It doesn't. That's my point. That's my point, though. The last time that happened,
I'm saying that Washington. I don't think Washington, like usually, with a rookie quarterback, usually for real, like their backup is capable. Like it's not great, but it's capable.
Wole, you're the only person that thinks that Mariota is incapable.
I'm not the only one. Ray believes me too. This dude is trash.
Ray has an implicit bias because he was on his team.
Look, man, look. Have you seen Mariota throw the football?
Ray, they wouldn't have. There's plenty of backup quarterbacks this offseason. Yeah. They wouldn't have paid this man $10 million to come here if he was trash, like you keep insinuating.
No. That's indictment on them. Sorry, I don't. That one. I'm gonna scratch my head on that one. I'm sorry. That one I'm not gonna ever. I feel
like that's how I knew they was going to get Jaden Daniels.
Me too.
I knew that.
Yeah,
I knew
as soon as
that.
they got Marcus Mariota, I said, okay, I think that means they're definitely getting Jaden Daniels.
They went to go get somebody that knew the spread offense like the back of his hand, that was going to teach. Because Jaden Daniels, what did Jaden Daniels look like? Jaden Daniels looked like Mariota the year he won the Heisman.
That's not good to say that. He's on who he teaching? Who's teaching?
It's not. I really don't think it's that bad.
Jaden Daniels looked like Mariota the year he won the Heisman.
That man better not change. That man better not change.
Did you forget the year that Mariota won the Heisman?
Yeah, and that's all right.
That's how Jaden. No, that's how Jaden Daniels looked.
No, I'm gonna give you this. They're all different because they run that little wide receiver screens and bubbles. Like LSU don't run that main wide receiver. I'll give you that.
LSU threw the ball down the field a little bit more. That's about it.
A little bit.
But I'm saying every player has what they're best at. Like Jaden Daniels is better deep than Mariota was,
which is a good
thing. I mean, who would you take, Marcus Mariota or Sam Howell?
Sam Howell in a second, easily over Mariota. Like no, Mariota doesn't throw. Mariota's not a thrower of the football. He's a gimmick, read option, whatever. He's not a thrower of the football.
Well, let Candi go home, man, because you ain't getting off this Mariota train, man.
No, I'm telling you, like Mariota has never thrown for he don't throw yards. He throws little screens or whatever. He's he's trash. But I wouldn't have Sam Howell here because it's just people have.
Oh no,
I wouldn't have him here. But we talking about off the skill set.
Yeah, I'm just talking. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Howell over Mariota. Yeah, definitely, easily. Mariota is not. No, he's a backup. Even the Eagles had him as a backup.
I'm not against that.
He should definitely be a backup for sure.
Yeah, if you're comparing him to Sam Howell last year and you're talking about skill set, I'm not against that. Yeah, Wole's right on that. Because Sam Howell has some stuff with him.
Yeah, he just had to throw the ball too much. He just threw the ball way too much.
He also had the team that he had to play with. So I don't think it's a coincidence that he got traded for a third round pick.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know like a third round pick.
Seattle saw something there.
Yeah. So
he's worth it. He was worth. It was a good trade
for us. Yeah, we got a third round pick. That was awesome. That was awesome.
It was a better trade. It was a better trade for Sam Howell than it was for Justin Fields.
Oh yeah, they did him dirty.
I mean, but no. If you look at it though, Justin Fields was at the third. He completed his third year. Yeah. They didn't pick up his fifth-year option, and you knew they wasn't. So you were literally getting the 1 year play.
He wanted to go. I heard that this is just where he wanted to go. So he just wanted. Yeah.
He wanted to trade him for whatever.
Yeah, you were getting. He wanted. If you're getting a 1 year player, Candi, versus like Sam Howell Sam Howell still has 2 years on contract, so you can develop them. If they want to get rid of Geno, they have a stopgap quarterback in a year where he can earn some money. So that's the one thing I give people about this. Like if if the Chicago Bears didn't have such a high price early on, I think Justin Fields is in Atlanta. He's there for probably like a third round pick or a fourth round pick. And
maybe, yeah.
And everything is good. But like because we've seen what the narrative around the black quarterback and and then you gotta understand Chicago also traded picks to get Justin Fields. That's the part that nobody's talking about because I'm a Giants fan. They traded with us that draft. With the 11th pick to come get him. Yeah. So they traded a little bit of a load to move down from 20 to 11 and then to have him play 3 years and be hurt and be coming up on a contract. No other team was going to pick up that.
That is true.
Well, that's a lot of baggage. It was a lot of baggage.
Okay, man, this has been dope, man. Before we let you go,
absolutely dope.
Catch your content on social media, and also I can just catch your content overall, like TV, everything. How can folks?
If you're in the DMV area on TV, you can catch Bowie TV on Verizon Fios Channel 11 and Comcast Xfinity Channel 77. You can also catch all of the content on Bowie TV's YouTube channel and then Bowie TV Sports on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. So go to all that. It's all Commanders, Ravens, HBCU athletics. We got it all.
Yeah, so follow on X, subscribe on YouTube. I guess you call it like on Facebook. Or you like it?
Like, yeah, subscribe, something.
Yeah, like, and then
like, share, follow. Did I say?
Yes.
So you already know what to do with folks. You already know what time it is. So make sure you do all that. All right, but do all that. You know what I'm saying? And also, if you're watching this too on YouTube, just know that I don't care about Luke McCaffrey.
This is gonna go on.
I don't. Anyway, man, it's time to wrap the show up. But hey, before we wrap this show up, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go everything. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. And like our All Burgundy and Go everything Facebook page. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go everything YouTube channel. Hit the red subscribe button like this video. We try to get to 400, so just hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you, Candi, for being on, man. You are a real warrior out there, man. You doing a darn thing. You already know what time it is. You are one of the better reporters out there on the Commander stuff. So appreciate you for being on.
Thank you all for always having me.
Oh, anytime, Candi, anytime. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. We out. As soon as I can find this outro, we out. I think we